What's going on? What's happening, everybody? What's happening? This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. So today topic I am going to be discussing about what is currently going on, right? So I don't know if you guys been keeping up, but the governor of Florida blocks high school AP African American courses. Okay. So for those of you that don't know what AP stands for, that means advanced placement. All right. So that's all it is. It's advanced courses. And so there's people that's highly upset about this, which is rightfully so. And there's those who are not as upset, but they expect this to happen, which is rightfully so as well. So I'm going to give my position on this, and I'm going to let you guys know where I stand on it. But before I do that, please make sure you like, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and share the channel. And also check out all the other video contents out here. And peace to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Thank you for coming through. Shout out to you. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So I want to go to the article first. And then I'm gonna talk about this. Okay. So let's go ahead and go into the article. All right. So the article comes from KPLC News, which is out of Florida. Right. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is out of Louisiana. My bad. But anyways, according to the information, right, it says Tallahassee, Florida. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis administration had blocked a new advanced placement course on African American studies from being taught in high school, saying it violates state laws and is historically inaccurate. The state education department rejected the program in a letter last week to the college board, which oversees AP classes. Florida education official did not specify exactly what content the state found objectionable, but said as present the content of this course is inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational values. In the future, should College Board be willing to come back to the table with lawful, historically accurate content, the Education Department will always be willing to reopen the discussion, the letter continued. All right, and then it goes on to say, in a statement, the College Board said, like all new AP courses, AP African American Studies is undergoing a rigorous multi-year plot phase, collecting feedback from teachers, students, scholars, and policymakers. So the process of plotting and revising course frameworks is a standard part of new AP courses, and frameworks often change significantly as a result, the statement read. And it says the College Board website describes the course as interdisciplinary, touch on literature, arts, humanities, political science, geography, and science. The plot program is debuting at 60 schools across the country before it expands to additional schools. The organization has been working on constructing the course for more than a decade, according to its website. All right, then it goes down to say last year the governor signed a legislation dubbed the Stop Woke Act that restricts certain based conversation and analysis in schools and businesses. The law bars instruction that says members of one race are inherently racist or should feel guilt for past action committed by others of the same race, among other things. More recently, the governor's budget office called on state colleges to submit spending information on programs related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and critical race theory, raising concerns of potential funding cuts such initiative. So Sharon Courtney, a high school teacher in Peekskill, New York, teaching the African American Study course, said her students were shocked to learn Florida blocked the class. She described it as a factual African history course that also details what Africans experienced upon their arrival in North America. So, first of all, I want to say this. Shout out to that teacher. I'm going to give a hand clap. Shout out to that teacher for teaching her students about the authentic history of the slave trade. So shout out to her. I give her the hand clap. Okay? Because we need more teachers like her who actually teaching these students about the historical facts about the slave trade, not just some narrative that white folks came up with to make themselves feel good, right? But the truth, the real that these kids need to know. Because when we was in school, we weren't really taught slavery like that. Slavery was not even a part of the conversation. If you was lucky to hear about Black history, right? If you was lucky to hear about Black history, what you was going to hear is about Dr. King and the little narrative they give off about Dr. King and Rosa Parks. Everybody else, you didn't hear much about. So shout out to that teacher, okay? But anyways, let me go ahead and continue with the article. And then I'm going to go ahead and give my commentators on this. She said, there's nothing objectionable. It's history that hasn't been traditionally taught in the United States in a K through 12 setting. She said, but it's also history that's once known and understood could change race relation and improve them. All right. See, this is a problem right here. Now, let's look at this comment. I don't think it really matters. The history changed so much. I don't think what they was teaching is right anyway. First of all, here's the problem. You don't think history really matters? It does. It does matter. And it does matter how it's being taught. Okay? So history is very important. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you have a public school system that is predominantly dealing with African Americans, it's very important. So now whether you agree, because I know you have your little disagreements or whatever the case may be, but when it comes down to the concept about the slave trade, right, it is real. There's nothing you can deny about that. When it comes to the concept about the African people being brought here to this country, that is real. That is, science can prove that. Science can prove that. If you go take a DNA test, and I keep saying this over and over again now, I'm sounding like a broken record. But if you take a DNA test, that's the answer right there. Science and history go hand in hand. DNA does not have to lie about your genetics, okay? Now, it may upgrade information. Their information might be upgraded because they discover more about your DNA, but DNA doesn't change. It is what it is. So based on your DNA alone, it tells a story about who you are, who you were, and how you got here. Okay? So let's just get rid of the narrative that, oh, we not this, we're not that, this, that, other. Okay, well, go take a DNA test and let's see what your DNA test say. Let's see what your results say. Because your results going to tell you exactly who you are, whether you like it or not. You know, and I don't know what's the whole biggie and issue about not accepting yourself. Because there's a lot of self-hating African Americans around here. It's a lot of self-hating Black folks. And I'm just going to be real. Okay, sir. So if you think DNA is capped, then maybe you just don't need to be here. So I wish you well, bro. I wish you well. Like, I'm just going to. I wish him well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because anytime somebody come along and say DNA is a cap, I just got to put you away. I can't talk to you. There's nothing that we can talk about. There's no conversation that should be had, because the moment that you say that, that lets me know that you're not inclined to have a conversation. So I wish that brother well. I hope he do all right, but The moment you start saying shit like DNA is a cap and it's not real, okay, well, next time you go to the doggone courthouse and you gotta take paternity tests and all that, I bet you won't say that paternity test ain't real. The next time when forensics had to do crime scene investigation and find out who the individual is, I bet you won't say that it ain't real. So I'm just, I'm gonna leave that alone. But anyways, let me get to my thoughts on the governor of Florida. So I'm gonna say this. This right here is bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Let me tell you why I say it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because it's sad. One thing, it's sad that you gotta learn all other courses, right? You gotta learn about the French history. You learn about Asian history, right? Here you learn about U.S. history, but you don't even learn about being African American. And we look at these public schools. Most of these public schools are predominantly African Americans. Okay, you have more African American children that go to public schools than any other group of kids, especially in the inner city community. So to sit here and to pretty much make them learn all the other courses and not learn about their history, yes, in a way that does create problems. It does create a lot of problems for parents. And it creates problem for the teachers because you have teachers who are very adamant and who want to teach their students about the legitimate history of African people in America. And not just African American history, but also just African history globally. So when you take that away from kids and say that, oh, we're not going to bring about AP advancement because you get into a subject about critical race theory, now it becomes a problem. It becomes a major problem. It becomes a major problem because at this point, you got to have a discussion about critical race theory. And that's the problem with the governor out there in Florida. They don't want to talk about critical race theory. Because now you got a question. You got to get into the concept. You got to get into the history about racism in America. You got to get into history about Jim Crow. You got to get into history about the Middle Passage. You got to get into those history. You got to get into those serious history. Like, you really got to get down to the details. You got to get into those details. And people don't want to have those conversations. So what this guy is telling you, that we rather sugarcoat it than to sit there and talk about it. And he has not really pointed out what the inaccuracy is, because from what I read in the article, it was talking about a variety of things that involve African American history. So I would like to know, what is the inaccuracy that caused this ban to take place? What is it? Because if it's really about critical race theory, then that means that America is in denial. Society is in denial. And somebody is using reverse racism and not really dealing with the whole context. So we don't have to sit here and make up anything about Jim Crow, because we know Jim Crow was an actual law that existed. Otherwise, you wouldn't have civil rights movement. You wouldn't have the Voting Act. Black Code, that was an actual law. Okay, the slave trade, that was an actual law. And even after the slave trade ended, there was still people bringing slaves over. Domestic slave trade, that actually exists. That actually exists. Okay. So what is it that the AP course is lying about regarding to African American history? If somebody can point out where the inaccuracy is, then maybe I can understand. But outside that, to ban it all together, that's problematic. You don't ban any other courses, but you will ban this course because you think that this is going to create problems. Well, of course, it's history. African Americans dealt with so much trauma here in America. We have dealt with so much trauma. African descended people have suffered so much in America. We don't went through a lot more oppression than anybody else in America. Okay? If you don't want to talk about redlining, you're in denial. If you don't want to talk about public housing, you're in denial. If you don't want to talk about the drug culture, you're definitely in denial. There's a lot of package that goes into African American history. Now, that's the bitter part. Let's talk about the sweet part of it. It's sweet because we have an opportunity to teach our people and educate our folks. We really do. We have that opportunity. This is why you see people have street cipher, right? That's why people be building on knowledge in the streets or building on knowledge online. And I seen a quote somewhere on Facebook say you learn a lot more information about Black history on social media than you do in school, and that's true. So at the same time, it's great because you can find out information on social media if you connect with the right people. Keyword, connect with the right people. Not with the people that's bring about sensationalism. Not people that want to build some type of cult. Not people that just want to go around brainwashing people just so they can get over people and make profit off of them. No, we're not talking about those people. We're talking about people who are legitimately studying history and are great historians who actually travel, who actually went to those sites and locations. Okay? So I give credit to those, even myself, but I give more credit to the people that's been doing this for a long period of time. The people who's actually bringing information into light. So shout out to those who are doing it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you know what to look for, all you gotta do is look up something. Just look up African American history. You'll come across the right people. If you look up African American history on YouTube, you'll come across the right people. If you look up the information on Google, African American history, you'll come across the right information. You know what I'm saying? But people don't actually look for those content clues. They look for something that sensationalizes them. And let's be real, history ain't gonna bring about sensationalism all the time. It's not gonna bring about feel good rhetoric. Then we have a problem. We have a major problem where people going around here, and I think this is very disrespectful. And those people I look at as an op. Those people are an op to me. Those people I don't even want to be associated with. Okay. These people going around here and saying things like transatlantic slave trade did not exist and don't have any type of accurate information to validate that. That's a problem. So it's nothing wrong with using YouTube or Facebook or any social media platforms. It's how you go about looking up information. What are you trying to find? Because if you go along with someone tell you that the transatlantic slave trade did not exist, that's a problem. That's the problem, because that shows you that you're not even thinking outside the box. For one, you're not even doing your own research. You're just going along with somebody else saying. And two, that individual either dumb as hell or they know what they doing and they doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. And that's a problem. That's a major problem. I seen a guy did a video saying that Goree Island does not exist and the transatlantic slave trade was fake. So you telling me that these people, and shout out to BET Network. So if you guys ain't look at BET Network, they go into discussion about African American history. Very accurate. So please look into BET. But anyways, there's documentaries out there that you guys can check out. Go on Amazon Prime if you have to, okay? You can go on Netflix. Baby, you can find all kinds of stuff out there. But there was a guy that put that out there saying that the transatlantic slave trade does not exist and that the Goree Island is fake. That is, it's just messed up. It's messed up how these individuals do things on purpose and don't care and brainwash people because they have this self-hate or they don't identify with themselves. Those are the people that you really gotta stay away from. Those are the people that you can't really call brother and sister. I'm sorry, and I'm just gonna be straight up. You can't put everybody in the block in the same boat and saying that, hey, these are my brothers, these are my sisters. Don't tell me that, oh, these people don't know any better, but they know what they doing. They know better, but they just don't give a damn. They don't care because they looking to control a group of people. They looking to see who they can get over. Anytime somebody say some shit like that, I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want to associate with you. Don't come around me. Don't, because I'm gonna disrespect you. Stay the fuck away from me. If you sitting around here telling folks that the transatlantic slave trade did not exist and there was no such thing as slavery and it's a lie, stay the fuck away from me. Stay far away from me. I do not want to associate myself with you. Because there's a lot of toxic ass people in the conscious community that we just gotta cut the strings on. It's time to cut them loose and let them hang themselves. I'm sorry, you gotta let them hang themselves. So the advantage of that is you can go online and find various information. You can find books. All you gotta do is type African American history in the Google search engine, look under books, and you will find so many books available. So many books, it's not even hard to do. You can go on Google Scholar and you'll find so many articles dealing with African American history, legitimate articles. And there's people that are in the Africana studies. They don't get credit. They don't even get respect for the work they doing. There's so many people that's doing this. You got Henry Louis Gates. Hell, you can look at Dr. John Henry Clark's work. Sivian Juve. Dr. Gerald Horn. What's the brother's name? Rasul Miller. I think that's his name. Rasul Miller, the Muslim brother. Rasul Miller. Abdullah Quaid. Yeah, Dr. Abdullah Quaid. Just to name a few. And even you can look up Dr. Fatima Jackson, who is a bioanthropologist. There's a list of name of people that you can look into. So all you gotta do is type it up on YouTube. These people study a lot about African history and African American history from various topics. We talking about from spirituality to religion to politics to science to social activism to political activism to education to entertainment, sports, music industry, performing arts, visual arts. These people are doing the work for real. So the whole thing is, peace, brother Greg. How you doing? It's been a long time. How you doing? I hope everything go well with you, Greg. But it's a lot of things that we just have to look into, man. So it's a great thing that we ain't learned this in school. Cause once you learn it at home, as long as your parent is there teaching you these things, or if your parents can't teach you, you can go out and learn it in the community. If you can't go into a community event and learn this information, you can go to the damn library, or you can look it up online, or you can get it from Amazon. You can find these information. It's not that hard. Hell, you can. As a matter of fact, this is what I noticed. I noticed that kids learn better amongst themselves than they do with teachers. Have you guys noticed that? Kids learn better from amongst themselves, from their peers, than they do with teachers. You will learn better from your own peers than you would do with your own teachers. because you're able to relate to those peers. They're able to connect with each other and they can be able to speak the language to where they can understand one another. As opposed to just sitting in the classroom and you listen to a teacher talking all day using gigantic vocabulary words and you have no clue what he or she talking about. But yes, so that's where I stand on my position. So I say it's bittersweet. It's messed up that these kids don't get the opportunity to learn about their history in school, and these teachers won't be able to teach it in school. And although they're very adamant and they passionate about this, but they won't be able to teach it because of some crazy law in Florida that pretty much blocked them from doing so. So I feel for the teachers, and I also feel for the students as well, who have a desire to want to learn. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Now that this law came about, don't be surprised that you got more and more kids dropping out of school. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Do not be surprised when you find out more kids that go to these public schools in Florida end up dropping out of school because they can't learn certain courses about their own history. You're gonna have a lot of high school dropouts that just, and then again, I could be wrong, but that's what it's gonna lead to. So when you deny that right to the students to learn about their history, they're gonna end up dropping out of school. More than likely. They're not gonna have any passion. They're not gonna want to learn. They're not gonna even want to come to class all the time. They're gonna be skipping classes. What's the purpose? You done took that away from me. You done took my right to learn about my own history. And our ancestors built this country, and you tell me I can't learn about history in school? Everybody else can learn something, but I can't learn about my own history. That's a problem. And so, and I feel for the teachers. They want to teach the students about it, especially those in the predominantly black schools. They want to teach them, but they can't. That's a problem. That's a major problem. But at the same time, you got social media, all platforms. It's not even hard. All you gotta do is hashtag, and you will find Black history everywhere. You will find Black history everywhere. There's not a moment that you won't even discover somebody talking about Black history. You will find it anywhere. It don't matter what platform you are. You can be on YouTube, you could be on Facebook, you could be on Twitter, you could be on Instagram, you could be on TikTok. You will find information about Black history regardless. You're gonna find pseudo history, but you're gonna also find accurate history about Black people. Hell, you can learn from people on the streets that's on the street corner selling books. You can go one of these little ghetto bookstores around here, or you can go to Barnes and Nobles and get you some books. It's not that hard. They can't stop you. They can't stop. We in a time period where technology is upgrading. We're in a time period where you'll find more and more bookstores and you have access to. We're in a time period where you can go to the library or you can go to the online library and look up articles or borrow books online. We in a time period where you can get ebooks. So, but it's up to you as the individual to make sure you're educating your children and educating yourself as well. You got to take the initiative. Can't nobody else do it for you. So do not sit around and wait for the government to approve or to give you a stamp of approval and say, hey, now you can teach. Don't do it. Do it while you can. And even the teachers out there, if you gotta teach on the low key, if you gotta say, hey, you guys come and meet me after school, or meet me after class or something, or if you gotta do that, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? If you gotta meet with the kid's parent and tell them, hey, if you need some information, you need some help, whatever, I can give you some resources, whoopty whoopty whoop, do that. If that's what you gotta do that. Yeah, I respect you for that. I respect the teachers that's actually doing it. I give you big kudos for that. If you gotta take the parents' number and contact the parents and let them know that you wouldn't mind giving one-on-one tutoring to their children or their child, and you have information that you would like to share with them so they can teach the kids, do that, because you're doing the work. You're doing the work. And that's it. I mean, you can't expect nothing else from this system. What else can you expect? What more do you expect? What more? Again, it's not that surprising. It's kind of sad, but it's not that surprising because it seems like Florida is a very racist state. I mean, it seems like they very racist out there in Florida anyhow. I'm just saying. But Florida is a beautiful state, but at the same time, they seem to be so racist. So, and I mean, and the governor just shown that he showed you that he was very racist. He allowed everybody else to learn all these other history, but you can't learn about your own history and your ancestor built this country. Isn't that a slap to the face? It is. But at the same time, you got people out there that's willing to teach, and they don't have no problem. Hell, you can find stuff. You can look up stuff online. It's accessible. It's not even that hard. That's all I gotta say about this. So I hope you all have a good one. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody that's coming through. Peace to y'all. Y'all take it easy on yourself. And then for those of you who just coming in, you have to watch my video from the very beginning. If you want to leave a comment, please do so by all means, and I will come and read your comments and try to respond as much as possible. So I can't guarantee you that I'm going to respond to everybody's comments. And speaking of comments, let me see if there's anybody that made commentaries on the YouTube channel. So for some reason, I can't see your comments on here. So if I'm not able to see your comments, then I would have to go to my mobile device and see the comments that has not popped up. So good. All right. So no more comments. All right. Well, I guess that's it for today. Y'all have a good one. Y'all enjoy yourself. Y'all be safe. And I will reconnect with you guys later. So until then, peace and power elevation be to all of you. Y'all have a good evening, and I'll talk to y'all later. And make sure you guys check out my other videos that I have previously done. And I will keep you guys posted and updated. All right. So peace.